So now we're coming to our 36th chapter today, the Madhura-rasa-vicara. Vichar means consideration. Sthayibhava and stages of Rati. The next day, Vijay Kumar arrived punctually at the lotus feet of his Gurudev, offered sastang dandavat and sat in his place. Sri Gopal Guru Goswami observed Vijay's eagerness to know about Sthayibhava and said, Madhurya-rati is the Sthayibhava of Madhurya-ras. So Madhurya-rati. So this is what we're going to hear about. Vijay, what causes the appearance of Rati? This is very important. Goswami, Rati arises from Abhiyog, Vishaya, Sambandha, Abhiman, Tadya Vishesh, Upamam, and Svabhav. Each of these causes is progressively superior to the previous one. So the Rati that arises from Svabhav is the best of all. So Vijay, what is Abhiyog? Goswami, Abhiyog is expressing one's bhav. There are two types of Abhiyog, that which one reveals personally and that which someone else reveals. So I want to read from this Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran. This is the abbreviated version by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur of these stages, because I think these stages are necessary to appreciate more deeply, and taking help from this, we will open it out more easily. So I'm reading on page 147 in this book, on chapter 14, Sthayibhava, Steady Ecstasy. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is putting it in synopsis, a summary here, but to understand it a little bit more. He's saying Abhiyog is expressing one's bhav, and there are two types. One is revealed personally, and that which someone else reveals. So here, it's described that Abhiyog is outward display of love, either by oneself or someone else. So here there's examples. Radharani tells Vishaka, when I saw Hari in the forest by Yamuna's shore, his restless sidelong glance bit the delicate creeper blossoms of my lips, arousing intense love for him within my heart. So this is an example of Abhiyog, which is the cause of Rati arising. And Krishna tells Subal, another example, my dear Subal, who is the girl on Jamuna's shore, her restless glances creating lotus flowers everywhere? She has enchanted the bumblebee of my heart. So again, this is a cause of Rati arising. This is Abhiyog. And again, Radharani's Gopi messenger tells Krishna, O Prince of Braj, when chaste and saintly Radha drinks the Madhaviki nectar of your words, she becomes intoxicated with love for you. In this condition, she remains unaware of how her loosened undergarments are beginning to slip from her. In other words, she's becoming unconscious of her bodily condition. So this is all about Abhiyog. This is for our meditation. There's nothing more to be said on these things. So, what is Vishaya? Goswami, there are 5 types of Vishaya, namely sound, Shabda, touch, Sparsha, beauty, Roop, taste, Rasa, and fragrance, Gandha. So, first the sound. I'm going to speak again from here. There's examples here. Sound. After hearing the sound, I'll read the second one. Radharani to her friend. She's saying, this is from Vidagdha Magga, since I have heard the name of the person called Krishna, I have practically lost all good sense. She's heard, it's sound vibration. Then there is another person who plays his flute in such a way that after I hear the vibration, intense madness arises in my heart. And again, there is still another person to whom my mind becomes attached when I see his beautiful lightning effulgence in his picture. Therefore I think that I am greatly condemned, for I have become simultaneously attached to 3 persons. It would be better for me to die because of this. So Rupa Goswami describes this in Vidagdha Madhav very beautifully. Radharani is thinking that she's fallen in love with 3 different people. She feels completely unchaste because of that. And then Lalita says, oh, my dear Saki, these are all the same people. And then Radharani feels great relief. But this is an example of sound, because it's just said here, 5 types of Vishaya: sound, touch, beauty, taste, and fragrance. These are all stimulants, udipans, or reasons for the appearance of Rati. And Vijay, what is Sambandha? And then there are examples here that you can read for yourselves of touch and form, taste and fragrance. They're all given here in examples. I can read one more. So the second one is touch. A gopi to her friend says, darkness now holds me in its grip and swallows up my body as I walk to Braj village in the evening. When this unknown person touches me, I become frightened. I become very alert, and the hairs of my body stand on end, stand up because of anxiety. Look, my anxiety does not stop for even a moment. So this is an example of touch. She's being touched by Krishna. And this is a beautiful example of form, and then taste and fragrance. And you can read these for yourself in the Ujjvala Nilamani. I believe that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is inspiring us to read this Ujjvala Nilamani. This is what I've said before. He's laying out here just a brief overview of the whole topic of Brajaras for us to pick up what is left over. Vijay, what is Sambandha? Goswami. Sambandha refers to the glories of 4 aspects: lineage, beauty, qualities, and pastimes. So all these can be unpacked also. So there's a description here. It says, noble family, beautiful form, and other good qualities may also arouse Sthayibhava. So this Madhura-rasa, this Sthayibhava of Madhura-rasa. And there's an example here. Rebuked by her friend for falling in love with Krishna, a gopi spoke the following words in her own defense. Krishna is so strong, he lifted the great Govardhan mountain as if it were a toy ball. He is so handsome, he appears like an ornament decorating the earth planet. He took a very high berth in the palace of the king of Gopas. He has millions of transcendental good qualities, and his extraordinary pastimes astonish the entire world. My dear foul-mouthed friend, what girl is able to keep her peaceful composure when she sees this Krishna? So this is a mood of Sambandha, appreciating Krishna's noble qualities. Vijay, what is Abhiman? Goswami, Abhiman is the definite decision to accept only one particular object, although many other beautiful objects are present. For example, when Krishna went to Mathura, a certain Brajagopi had awakened her Rati for Krishna. However, she had not been able to have his association because she had not yet attained full youth. One of her friends saw the exquisite beauty of her age and spoke to her in a solitary place to test her. Now, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting from the Ujjvala Nilamani directly here. O Saki, Krishna has left Braj and gone away, and now your new youthfulness and other qualities are developing. There are so many youths in Braj who are handsome and qualified. If you want to marry any of them, whisper to me, and I will speak with your mother and make all the necessary arrangements. When that Brajagopi heard her friend's words, she replied, O Saki, this whole world may have so many expert young men who are like waves of beauty and sweetness, each sweeter and more beautiful than the one before. Let them be. highly qualified young ladies may accept them. As far as I am concerned, if someone does not wear a crown of peacock feathers upon his head, if there is no murli splendidly adorning his lips, and if his body is not beautified by tilak and other decorations made with minerals such as garika dhatu, then I will consider him to be as insignificant as a piece of straw. I will not have the slightest inclination towards him. So this is testing that gopi's nishta towards Krishna. This is an example of abhiman. So we're working our way through. And each one, as we said before, is escalating. Swabhav is going to be the pinnacle. Vijay, I've understood abhiman. What is tadya vishesh? Goswami, Krishna's footprints, the pasturing grounds of Vrindavan, and Krishna's Priyajan are called tadya vishesh. Krishna's Priyajan and those who have rag, anurag, and mahabhav for him. So these are the causes of this rati arising to a very high degree. Vijay, what is upam? Upama. Goswami, upama is a resemblance between one object and another. In this context, it refers to some resemblance to Krishna. Vijay, what is swabhav? Goswami, swabhav is the nature that is self-manifest and does not depend on any other cause. There are two kinds of swabhav, nishag and swarup. Vijay, what is nishag? So we heard this word in the first chapter, nishag, but now it's a different meaning in this chapter. Nishag was that acquired nature. So Goswami, nishag is the desire or sanskar arising from firmly established habits or practices. So that doesn't necessarily mean your swabhav, it can be your acquired nature. Not necessarily your original nature. It's what you have acquired, like the block of ice. Its nishag, nature, is very hard, but that's not its swabhav. Its original nature is liquid, it's not hard, but its acquired nature has made it become hard. That's the example of nishag. So here we can relate it to this. This is established habits or practices. Hearing about Krishna's gun, rupa, and so on is only a partial cause of the awakening of rati. Nishag consists of the impressions caused by steadfast ratya abhas, developed in many lives of the jiva. So in many lives of the jiva, we may have absorbed these truths, but not actually realized them in full. Our swarup may have been not able to accept them as our nature. It is awakened suddenly and unexpectedly when one hears the descriptions of Krishna's gun, roop, and so on. This means that hearing about Krishna's qualities and beauty is not the only cause of rati. So this is the nishag type of swabhav, the first type that comes from habits and practice, etc. Now the second type, Vijay. Please explain swarup in this context of swabhav. Goswami, swarup is the bhav that has no birth and no origin, and which manifests its own perfection independently. It's very beautiful to understand this. There are three types of swarup: Krishna nishta, Lalana nishta, and Ubhaya nishta. Those who have a demonic nature cannot attain Krishna nishta swarup, but it is easily attainable for those who have a godly nature. Lalana nishta swarup is self-manifest rati, that is expressed as an involuntary impulse towards Krishna. Involuntary means spontaneously attraction for Krishna. Even when one has not seen him or heard about him, about his beauty and qualities. So nothing, what do you call, coming from habit or practice. This is just all spontaneous. Because we said at the beginning of this description of these abhiyogas that Svabhav is the highest. And we're talking about the Sthayibhava of Madhura-rasa-vicara. So this Svabhav, this natural inclination, is the highest. And it's not that one which is covered by practices, etc. This is why, for example, when we're going through these stages from Shraddha to Prem in this material ladder, so to speak, and in the sense of going from Ruchi, there's some endeavor for that taste, but in the stage of Asakti, there's no more endeavor to try to move forward. You move forward naturally. It's a spontaneous attachment that happens in the stage of Asakti. Whereas the stage of Ruchi, there's some sadhana required. You understand what I'm saying? So in the stage of Asakti, there's no pressure to control the sense. They're already controlled, they're already completely attached. There isn't another way for the senses to go. It's all just direct. That's the spontaneous connection when it becomes just simply direct. This is a very high stage. This is the stage just prior to Bhav. Lalana Nishta Swarup is self-manifest Rati that is expressed as an involuntary impulse towards Sri Krishna. Even when one has not seen him or heard about his beauty and qualities, the Svabhav in which both Krishna Nishta and Lalana Nishta are manifest is called Ubhaya Nishta Swarup. So that's very, very beautiful description of Svabhav, which comes in the category of the Abhiyog, these 7 descriptions of the Abhiyog. Abhiyog in the beginning, but it's specific to Svabhav. In the beginning, it's talking about the appearance of Rati. So yes, sorry, Abhiyog is just one of those symptoms. This is the final, Svabhav, yes. Not Abhiyog, that was wrong. Vijay, that means that there are 7 causes altogether. Abhiyog, Vishaya, Sambandha, Abhiman, Tadya Vishesh, Upama, and Svabhav. Do all types of Madhurya-rati arise from these 7 causes? Goswami, the Krishna Rati of the gopis of Gokul occurs naturally and of its own accord. It is self-manifest and it is not aroused by abhiyog and so on. However, these causes also play a role in many pastimes. The Rati of the sadhana siddhas and nishag siddhas is awakened by these 7 causes, beginning with abhiyog. So this is fascinating to appreciate. Vijay, I have not been able to comprehend this subject thoroughly. No. We can hear it. It's the beginning. Please give 1 or 2 examples to help me to understand. Goswami, the Rati that I am talking about arises only from Raganuga Bhakti. But this type of Rati is very far away as long as Vaidhi Bhakti does not become Bhav-mayi. As long as Vaidhi Bhakti hasn't become spontaneous. If it's still in the rules and regulations practice stage, that Bhav-mayi is the Sthayibhava. Bhav-mayi is the original Sthayibhava, because the chapter's about the Sthayibhava now. This is what we're talking about. A sadhak who develops a greed for those moods on seeing the Braj Gopis. Everything depends on the Braj Gopis' moods. We are following in the footsteps, we're Rag Anugas, following the Ragatmikas. The Ragatmikas are the Brajadevis, the Brajaramanis. That is completely this Gopi Anugatya. This is our focus. Seeing the Brajagopis, ecstatic emotional performance of Krishna's seva gradually attains Rati, arising from the 6 causes other than Swabhav. So those other causes that we talked about, the Abhiman, etc. And especially from Priyajan. That's especially from the association. When he becomes sadhana siddha, he experiences a spurti, a momentary internal manifestation of Lalana Nishta Swarup. So that's quite complex, what we've just discussed about the causes for Rati. Perhaps we need to read it a number of times to digest it nicely. But we'll carry on now, because now we're going to talk about the 3 types of Rati. And we'll begin this now, because we haven't got, we'll see how far we get. Vijay, how many kinds of Rati are there? So first we've talked about the causes for Rati. Now, what are the 3 types of Rati that he's going to describe? Goswami, there are 3 kinds of Rati. Sadharani, general, Samanjasaha, proper, and Samartha, competent. The Rati of Kubja is an example of Sadharani Rati and has been condemned because its fundamental basis is the desire to enjoy union. So Kubja, when she was bent in 3 different places, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that actually she's a representation of Bhumi Devi, because she's carrying fragrances like the fragrance of Mother Earth. Mother Earth's quality is fragrance. So she's carrying those fragrances, and she's bent, deformed in those places because of the weight of the warring armies on the planet, on Mother Bhumi. So she's deformed. And then Krishna just puts his hand under her chin and pulls her up straight, because she agrees to give Krishna those beautiful fragrances that she's carrying. And she looks at Krishna with lustful eyes. When her body becomes straightened and she realizes what a beautiful girl she is, then she immediately wants herself to enjoy union with Krishna. It's not for Krishna's pleasure, it's for her own pleasure. And eventually there's a story when Krishna goes with Uddhav to the house of Kubja, which is almost like a prostitute house, basically. That's where she is. And Krishna, he sits with Kubja there in that situation. But this is still described as a Rati, because it's exclusively for Krishna. Even though she wants to enjoy, but she wants to enjoy with Krishna. But it's the lowest form of Rati. Rupa Goswami concedes to this Rati. The Rati of Kubja is an example of Sadharani Rati. It has been condemned because its fundamental basis is the desire to enjoy union. The Rati of the Mahishis of Dwarka is called Samanjasaha, proper, because it satisfies worldly standards of righteous conduct, and it is awakened by the regulative principles of marriage. I am his wife, he is my husband. This Rati is limited by such sentiments. So this is Swakya Bhav. In Swakya it's described that the emotion reaches the Anurag stage. It doesn't, a little Mahabhav, but practically it's on the Anurag stage. We have Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag, and Anurag before we have Mahabhav. So in this Anurag stage is the stage of the Mahishis of Dwarka, in this Swakya Rati. Because it's made feeble, it's described, or weak, because of so much Aishwarya, so much adoration of the Prince of Dwarka, Krishna. It's not in a more spontaneously simple, because it's got the Swakiya Bhav there, that marital. And we've said many times, when you marry, you say to your wife, now you're mine forever. And the wife says to the husband, now you're mine forever. So there's this restriction in their relationships with other people. So it's not full. Because it satisfies worldly standards by righteous conduct, and it is awakened by the regulative principles of marriage. I am his wife and he is my husband. This Rati is limited by such sentiments. So the Rati of Lord Ramchandra, for example, is limited by this sentiment. Lord Ram didn't engage in any relationships with any other woman. He demonstrated for a particular purpose, a principle of establishing Maryad. This is why he manifested this, because this Dharma had to be manifested solidly on the planet first, before Krishna manifests. Krishna does the opposite. He sort of blows it right out of proportion. So how is the sadhak supposed to reconcile all these different incarnations of the Lord if he has the mercy of the Lord, if he has sincerity to understand who is Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar and what is pure Rati? This is what we're trying to appreciate here. He has to really wake up. He has to really see the whole picture completely. The Rati of the residents of Gokul is Samartha, because such Rati magnificently goes beyond even the boundaries of social restrictions and religious principles. It's just breaking all the principles, Parakya. The gopis themselves have to demonstrate their transcendence of Dharma to come to Krishna. Material Dharma. This is what we spoke about in the Falshruti. They have to walk away from all their dharmic considerations. And they can do that easily because of their all-encompassing affection and attraction for Krishna. Material Dharma can't hold them back to their spiritual aspiration. This is what to understand and appreciate. This material Dharma is not sufficient to restrict their running out in the middle of the night. Young girls, 14, 13 even years old, 12 years old, in the middle of the night, away from their parents. We see in Indian culture today, even if you're 50 years old, when your mother says do something, you do it. What to speak of a 13-year-old girl, 14-year-old girl, completely disregarding material Dharma because of the immensity of the attraction for the Vishaya, for Krishna. So this is such a demonstration of the highest consideration of love known to man is performed by the gopis of Vrindavan. This is supposed to inspire us to this very peak, this pinnacle of what is the, we're discussing the Sthayibhava of Madhura-rasa, this Samartha Rati. I'll just finish this paragraph and then we'll stop. Beyond the boundaries of social restriction and religious principles. Samartha Rati is not actually improper. Indeed, from the perspective of the ultimate transcendental objective, Paramata, only Samartha Rati is correct in the highest sense. Why is it correct? Because Krishna is accepted as the highest principle of love. There's nothing lower than that. There's nothing beyond that. The highest principle of love is to disregard all material considerations and just go to Krishna. It's very special. Sadarani is like a jewel. Samanjasarati is like Chintamani. And Samartha-rati is supremely rare, like the Kastuba Mani. So we'll stop here today. So we've just had a brief description of these three types of Rati, and we've gone through the causes for Rati arising, and we've discussed these 7 causes of Rati arising. the Abhiyog, Vishaya, Sambandha, Abhiman, Tadya Vishesh, Upaman, and Swabhav. And then we've touched on now the beginning of our understanding of these stages of Rati. So we're moving through this chapter. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Ananta Gauda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So yesterday we discussed about Abhiyog, Abhiman, etc. And at the end of that list of those seven types of what is giving rise to Rati is Abhiyog, Vishaya, Sambandha, Abhiman, Tadya Vishesh, Upamam, and Swabhav. So when we read this part about Swabhav, I just want to read it again because we can read it many times and get more and more out of it. So I want to read it again because it's very fascinating. On page 733, so I'm just dropping back just to recap over this page from yesterday. So Vijay is asking, what is Swabhav? Goswami says, Swabhav is the nature that is self-manifest and does not depend on any other cause. There are two kinds of Swabhav, Nishag and Swarup. So Vijay, what is Nishag? This is very interesting from the sadhak's point of view. Goswami, Nishag is the desire or sanskar arising from firmly established habits or practices. Hearing about Krishna's guna, rup, and so on is only a partial cause of the awakening of Rati. So in other words, the practice has become almost more important than the conclusion of the practice. The sadhya is Krishna. Krishna is the Vishaya. But if one is performing his sadhana bhakti for many, many years and he becomes habituated to his practice, he can be thinking more about his practice and his sadhana than he's thinking about Krishna and service. There's a difference. Yes? Difference? You understand? Difference. If we're practicing, but we're not waking up to the Vishaya, to what is the purpose of the practice. We're performing it like habit, but the heart connection is not there. Hearing about Krishna's guna and rupa and so on is only a partial cause of the awakening of Rati. Nishag consists of the impressions caused by steadfast Rati Abbas. So that performance of the sadhana is Rati Abbas if it's not clearly focused on bringing Krishna pleasure. If it's about myself, if it's about me and my sadhana, is me and my sadhana more important than Krishna's pleasure? So that has to be considered, that thought. Nishag consists of the impressions caused by steadfast Rati Abbas developed in many lifetimes of the Jiva. It is awakened suddenly and unexpectedly when one hears the descriptions of Krishna's guna, rup, and so on. This means that hearing about Krishna's qualities and beauty is not the only cause of Rati. So this is actually explained in the Ujjvala Nilamani, and I'll just read here because it's a little bit different from how Bhaktivinoda Thakur was presenting it. So there's on page 151, if you have this little book, there's a description of Nishag. When by briefly hearing about Krishna's transcendental attributes and handsome form, one's eternal love for him is aroused. This is called Nishag. Because we had this word Nishag in the beginning, in the second chapter, first chapter. This a quiet nature. That was what it was describing. So this acquired nature can take over the essence of the Swabhav. The Swabhav is the real nature, but the acquired nature can become more prominent. And in this case, we can consider that the acquired nature can be just performing a sadhana, etc., without the actual Swabhav arising, without the mood, the Rati, arising for attraction to Krishna. So, because now, Vijay, please explain Swarup. So this is the second part of Swabhav. Goswami, Swarup is the Bhav that has no birth and no origin. This is the original Swabhav, and which manifests its own perfection independently. There are three types of Swarup: Krishna Nishta, Lalana Nishta, and Ubhaya Nishta. Those who have a demonic nature cannot attain Krishna Nishta Swarup, but it is easily attainable for those who have a godly nature. And again, this is beautifully described here. These three types of Swarup are described. And Krishna Nishtam is easily attainable for those who are free from all demonic qualities. Means all anarthas are purified. Seeing Krishna disguised as a woman in one of his pastimes, a demigoddess who happened to fly nearby in her flower airplane said to her friend, "This is not a gopi who makes the hearts of all of us demigoddesses tremble with ecstatic love, but it is Krishna, playfully disguised as a woman. Who else but Krishna or the sun planet could remove the darkness from everyone this way?" So, and there's a description here of Lalana Nishtam. So I'll read here first. Lalana Nishta Swarup is self-manifest Rati that is expressed as an involuntary impulse towards Sri Krishna, even when one has not seen him or heard about his beauty and qualities. It's just a natural attraction to Krishna. And it's saying here, in Lalana Nishta Swarupam, the devotee loves Krishna even without seeing or hearing him. And there's an example of a gopi says, in Braj, there is a person who wears yellow garments and has a complexion the color of a dark rain cloud. Very expert at hiding, he remains always unseen and unheard in all the three worlds. My mind is now breaking apart with the desire to attain him. So even we can't see him, we can't hear him, but still the attraction is there. That's Lalana Nishtam. And then the third one, which is Ubhaya Nishta Swarup, the Swabhav which is both Krishna Nishta and Lalana Nishta are manifest is called Ubhaya Nishta. And there's an example here too. Ubhaya Nishtam Swarup, ecstatic love, is directed to both Krishna and the beautiful eyed gopis, eyebrowed gopis. So it's both. The Ubhaya Nishta is like the Krishna Nishta and the Lalana Nishta together. It's like the both. And there's an example given here that seeing Krishna disguised as a Brahmin priest at the Surya Puja ceremony, Radharani said to Lalita, "My friend, this person must be Hari, disguised as a Brahmin, for otherwise how would it be possible for this person to make my heart melt with ecstatic love? Just as only moonlight and nothing else makes the Chandrakanta jewels melt, in the same way only Krishna makes my heart melt with ecstatic love." So this is an example of both. This is an example of not being 100% sure that this is Krishna, because he's disguised as a Brahmin priest, but at the same time having that feeling towards Krishna. So it's both. So this is Ubhaya Nishta Swarup. So Vijay, that means there are 7 causes altogether: Abhiyog, Vishaya, Sambandha, Abhiman, Tadya Vivesh Upamam Svabha. Do all types of Madhurya-rati arise from these 7 causes? Goswami, the Krishna-rati of the gopis of Gokul occurs naturally and of its own accord. It is self-manifest. It is not aroused by abhiyog and so on. However, these causes also play a role in many pastimes. The rati of the sadhana siddhas and nishag siddhas is awakened by these 7 causes, beginning with abhiyog. So principally the gopis, their swabhav will be awakened naturally. It's saying the Krishna rati of the gopis of Gokul occurs naturally, of its own accord, spontaneously. Whereas the sadhana siddhas and nishag siddhas, because the nishag siddhas, they are still operating or living in that acquired nature's place. It hasn't actually gone beyond that into their swabhav. Vijay, I have not been able to comprehend this subject thoroughly. Please give 1 or 2 examples to help me to understand. So we read this yesterday, but it's very helpful to read it again. We can hear it many times because it's very dense. Goswami, the rati that I am talking about arises only from Raganuga Bhakti. This type of rati is very far away as long as Vaidhi Bhakti does not become Bhavamayi. As long as the Bhav hasn't risen in Vaidhi Bhakti, then this swabhav will not manifest. A sadhak who develops a greed for those moves on seeing the Braj Gopis, ecstatic emotional performance of Krishna's seva, gradually attains rati, arising from the 6 causes other than swabhav, and especially from priyajan. When he becomes sadhana siddha, he experiences a spurti, a momentary internal manifestation of lalana-nishta swarup. So this lalana-nishta swarup is, we've just described, is the self-manifest rati that is just naturally coming towards Krishna. Vijay, so we also read this yesterday, but we can read it again. Vijay, how many kinds of rati are there? Goswami, there are 3 kinds of rati: Sadharani, general; Samanjasa, proper; and Samartha, competent. The rati of Kubja is an example of Sadharani rati. It has been condemned because its fundamental basis is the desire to enjoy union. So that's not a principal type of rati, but still Rupa Goswami mentions it. The rati of the Mahishis of Dwarka is called Samanjasa, proper, because it satisfies worldly standards of righteous conduct, and it is awakened by the regulative principles of marriage. I am his wife, he is my husband. This rati is limited by such sentiments. It's not liberated like parakya. I'm not elaborating because we spoke yesterday. The rati of the residents of Gokul is Samartha, because such rati magnificently goes beyond even the boundaries of social restrictions and religious principles. This is to be meditated on, the Samartha rati. Samartha rati is the rati of the gopis of Vrindavan. That is the strongest because it's completely spontaneous and selfless, and it controls Krishna. It has the capacity to control Krishna. Just like even Mother Yashoda, her love will control Krishna. All the Brijbasis control Krishna by their love. Samartha rati is not actually improper, even though it's parakya. Indeed, from the perspective of the ultimate transcendental objective, Paramata, only Samartha rati is correct in the highest sense. Sadharani rati is like a jewel Samanjasa-rati is supremely rare, like Vijay's eyes filled with tears, and weeping continuously, he said, "Fortunate to hear such unprecedented and exalted subject, such an unprecedented and exalted subject. Prabhu, by your causeless mercy, please describe the characteristics of Sadharani Rati." So this is where we reached yesterday. Goswami, Sadharani Rati appears from the desire for sambhog. Yes, they want union in Sadharani Rati. It is stimulated by utter infatuation when one sees Krishna face to face. But it is not so deep, and neither is it thick nor permanent. When the desire for sambhog subsides, this rati also subsides. That is why it has been characterized as inferior. So that is Sadharani, that is the Kupja. And Vijay, what is the nature of Samanjasa-rati? Goswami, Samanjasa-rati is the full and concentrated rati that is aroused by hearing about Krishna's beauty and qualities, and which arises from the conception, "I am his wife, and he is my husband." Sometimes the desire for sambhog also occurs in this rati. It is not possible to control Krishna by expressing one's mood, or by the hava, bhava, hela, and so on, arising from the desire for sambhog. So we understand that the queens, the Mahishis of Dwarka, they have 10 sons, 1 daughter, and then Krishna. So Krishna actually gets 1/12 of their love. It's not fully like the gopis, only have that one ekantika, 1 love for Krishna, whereas the Mahishis, there's less. Vijay, what is the nature of Samartha-rati? Goswami, the desire for sambhog with Krishna is present in every type of rati. In Sadharani and Samanjasa-rati, the desire for sambhog is for one's own personal satisfaction. So this is the huge distinction in Braj. Samartha is the special bhav that is completely selfless and free from self-interested desire for union, and which attains the state of tadatmya, or oneness with the desire for union. So this is so extremely elevated, without any selfish motivation. And this is what will control Krishna, this totally selfless mood, this rati. Vijay, what is the nature of that special bhav? Kindly clarify this point a little more. Goswami, there are 2 types of desire for sambhog. The first is the desire for sambhog, in which one desires that one's own senses are satisfied by the beloved for one's own happiness. The second is the desire for sambhog that consists entirely of the conception that one should satisfy the senses of the beloved for his happiness. The first type of desire can be called calm, because the desire for one's own happiness is inherent in it. The second type of desire has been called prem, because it consists exclusively of the desire for the happiness of one's beloved. The first type of desire, calm, is powerful, and it is prominent in Sadharani Rati, but it is not prominent in Samanjasa-rati. But it does not predominate, in Samanjasa-rati. The latter characteristic, namely prem, or the exclusive desire for the happiness of one's beloved, is the inherent distinctive function, Vishesha Dharma, and the desire for sambhog in Samartha-rati. I'll just read that sentence again. It's very thick. The latter characteristic, namely prem, or the exclusive desire for the happiness of one's beloved, is the inherent distinctive function, Vishesha Dharma, of the desire of Sambhog in Samartha Rati. Vijay. One must feel happiness from the touch of one's beloved in Sambhog. Is there no desire for this happiness in Samartha Rati? Good question. Goswami. It is certainly extremely difficult to be completely free from such a desire. Nevertheless, although such a desire is present in the heart of one who has Samartha Rati, it is extremely faint. This Samartha Rati becomes powerful with the support of Vishesh Dharma, specific characteristic. When it embraces and becomes one with the desire for Sambhog, this type of Rati is celebrated by the name Samartha, capable, because it is endowed with great capability to control Krishna. So, of course, the happiness is there within the gopis. Extreme anand is there, otherwise why would Krishna be attracted to them? But that source of their happiness is focused on Krishna's happiness. Their happiness is Krishna's happiness. And Krishna is in that blissful anand state, and then the gopis also become in that same state. And then Krishna's happiness will increase when he sees the gopis. And the gopis' happiness will increase when they see Krishna's happiness. So it's like that competitive mood. Vijay, what is the special glory of Samartha Rati? Goswami, as soon as this Samartha Rati appears, one becomes oblivious to all types of obstacles, such as family, religious principles, patience, and shyness. This is so whether it was aroused by Sambandha, Tadiya, Svabhavika Swarup, or any of the other causes beginning with Abhiyog that I mentioned previously. This Rati is extremely deep. Vijay, how does the desire for Sambhog attain oneness when it mixes with Shuddha Rati? Swami, the Samartha Rati of the Braj Gopis is only for the sake of Krishna's happiness, and whatever happiness they experience in their Sambhog is also to please Krishna. That's the secret. Their happiness also pleases Krishna. Therefore, the desire for Sambhog combines with Rati, which is exclusively the desire for Krishna's happiness, and assumes the most astounding splendor with waves of vilas, pastimes. This Rati does not allow the desire for Sambhog to exist separately from itself. Sometimes this Rati can terminate itself in Samanjasara. So that Samanjasara is the queens of Dwarka, and the Rati can terminate, stop in this Rati, but it can't stop in Samartha Rati. Vijay, aho, how extraordinary this Rati is. I want to hear about its ultimate glory. Goswami, when this Rati is mature, it attains the condition of Mahabhav. All liberated personalities are searching for this Rati, and the 5 kinds of bhaktas attain it to the degree that they are capable of doing so. So those 5 types of bhaktas are described in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, from initially from Prahlad, Ambarish, Hanuman, the Pandavas, and then Uddhava. They are all searching for this. But actually these are the 5 types of bhaktas outside of Braj. And then within Braj, you have the 5 moods, the 5 rasas, the principal Bhavmayi rasas within Braj. Vijay, Prabhu, I wish to know about the sequence in which Rati evolves. Goswami, Syadrite yam rati prem prodyan sneha kramad ayam. Syan mana pranayo rago nurago bhav iti api. Ujvala nilamani Sthayibhava prakaran 53. The meaning is that this Madhura-rasa is made unshakable by the presence of antagonistic elements. Then it is called prem. There's another beautiful verse by Rupa Goswami, and he describes that Svarta Sarvasyaka. No, just a second. Sarvatya Yadyapi Samsakarane Yadbhava Sarvasyaka. No. Sarvatot Vamsaratim. Yes. Sarvata Vamsarahitam Yadyapi Vamsakarine Yadbhava Bandhanam Yuno Sa Prem Parikirtite. This is saying, when the affectionate bond between a young man and a young woman can never be destroyed, even when there is every cause for the destruction of that relationship, the attachment between them is said to be pure love. So again, this is Rupa Goswami is writing this in Ujjwala Nilamani. And we see when Krishna goes to Mathura, marries 16,000 queens, and does Radharani's love diminish? Even he has so many children, grandchildren, but Radharani's love never flinches for one moment. Even Chandravali, her love for Krishna, when she knows that Krishna is more attracted to Radharani, her love doesn't diminish at all. Antagonistic elements in presence of it. It's unshakable. Then it is called prem. Nothing can break it. This prem gradually manifests its own sweetness as it develops into sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag, and bhav. Vijay. Prabhu, please give an example to help me understand. Goswami, just as the seed of sugarcane grows and progressively develops into cane juice, gur, khanda, shakara, sita, and sitapal, similarly, rati, prem, sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag. So we come from bhav in this world to prem, and then on the other side of prem, in the transcendental world, then it's sneha, man, pranaya, rag, like that. It's on the other side. The rati and prem are on this side, so to speak. And bhav are all one substance in progressive stages of development. In this context, the word bhav refers to mahabhav. That's the final. When we have sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag, bhav, that bhav is mahabhav. It's very wonderful for us, Satin Bhaja, to hear these things. Just to hear these things, because this is the prayojan. These are the definitions of what is bhakti ras. And just by hearing of them, everything shifts into another dimension when we're performing our regular sadhana, because now we're hearing about these topics very clearly. Vijay, why have you referred to all these bhavs as prem when they all have different names? Goswami, Pandits have used the word prem to denote all the stages, beginning with sneha, because they are all 6 progressive stages in the development of the unmitigated pleasure sports, vilas, of prem itself. So they're all stages. It's like sometimes Radharani and Krishna, they will be in the stage of pranaya. This pranaya is described when if you're in the bathroom alone and you're looking in the mirror, there's no difference between you and your reflection. And similarly, when Radha and Krishna are together, there's no difference between them. They feel completely unified. And then the stage of man, it's there to bring the prem to a higher stage. When the stage of man has been pacified, then there's even greater intent. Man is considered a separation mood. There are 4 types of separation. What is that? First is in Venugit, the first type of separation is, what's that? Quickly, it's on the tip of my cat. I can't remember it. Purvarag, and then is Man, then Prem Vaichitya, then is Purvas. These are 4 stages of separation. So Man is considered a stage of separation. Man is considered a stage of separation. There's 4 stages, and then there's 4 stages of Sambhog, paralleling those 4 stages. We've already been through this. So that Purvarag is first. Yes, let me answer this again. Goswami, Pandits have used the word prem to denote all the stages, beginning with sneha, because they are 6 progressive stages in the development of the unmitigated pleasure sports, vilas, of prem itself. They're all individual stages of their sports itself, like Man I just described. As prem for Sri Krishna appears in his bhaktas, the corresponding type of prem also arises in Krishna for his bhaktas. Krishna will be Yayatam Prapadyante, Tam Sthayibhava Prajamyam. Krishna will reciprocate according to his bhaktas. Vijay, what is the primary characteristic of prem? Goswami, in Madhura-rasa, the bond of emotion between the youthful couple never breaks, despite there being cause for the destruction of the relationship. That indestructible emotional bond is called prem. So that stage of prem can be sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag, bhav. They're all stages of prem. And they have all those different stages for their pastime's sake. Goswami. Oh, Vijay, how many kinds of prem are there? Goswami, there are 3 kinds, Prodha, Madhya, and Manda. Vijay, what is the nature of Prodha prem? Goswami, in Prodha prem, the heart of the beloved flounders in anxiety over the pain that her lover must be feeling when she is late for the meeting. Vijay, what is Madhya prem? Goswami, Madhya prem is that in which the beloved can tolerate the distress of the lover. Vijay, what is Manda prem? Goswami, Manda prem is prem in which forgetfulness may occur under some particular circumstance of time and place, or in which there is no sacrifice or respect, as the lovers are always extremely familiar with each other, due to being very intimate and remaining together. Although this prem is mild, Manda, there is no disrespect or neglect in it. So it's a progression. It starts with Prodha is the highest, then Madhya, then Manda. Vijay, if there are any more important points on this subject, please explain them. Goswami, Prodha, Madhya, and Manda prem can also be easily understood by one other type of characteristic. The prem in which separation is intolerable is Prodha prem. The prem in which the pain inflicted by separation is tolerable is Madhya prem. So it's a progression. And the prem in which forgetfulness may occur in certain special circumstances is called Manda prem. Vijay, I have understood prem. Now please describe sneha. So this is the first stage. Goswami, when prem attains its ultimate limit and illuminates the lamp of the chitta, mind, and melts the heart, it is called sneha. Here the word chitta denotes the attainment of the object, vishaya, of prema. The marginal characteristic of sneha is that one is never satiated, despite repeatedly looking at the object of one's affection. So Mother Yashoda, her sneha is described as being extreme. Vijay, are there any superior and inferior divisions within sneha? Goswami, yes, there are also 3 divisions in accordance with the gradations of the development of sneha. These are Uttam, Madhya and Kanishta. In Kanishta sneha, the heart melts on touching the limbs of one's beloved. In Madhya sneha, the heart melts simply by seeing one's beloved. And in Uttam sneha, the heart melts merely by hearing anything in connection with one's dearest beloved. Beautiful progression. Vijay, how many types of sneha are there? Goswami, the natural characteristic of sneha is that it can manifest in 2 ways, Grita sneha and Madhu sneha. Vijay, what is Grita sneha? Goswami, Grita sneha is deep with a great deal of respectful affection. Grita means ghee, is not independently sweet like honey. It is only delicious when it is mixed with sugar and other ingredients. Similarly, Grita sneha is not independently sweet like Madhu sneha. It only becomes highly palatable when mixed with other bhavs, such as garva, pride, and asuya, jealousy. Grita sneha is cool in its natural state, so it becomes thick with mutual honor and deep respect. In other words, Grita sneha solidifies, whereas Srimati Radharani has the next one, the Madhu sneha. Distinction between Chandravali is this Tadyagnik mood, I am yours, whereas Radharani's mood is you are mine, mamata. The predominant mood of Grita sneha is I am his, like Chandravali. Tell me each time. It's ready. Tell me when it's I'm successful. Although drinking the nectar of your instructions, my thirst to hear is still not satiated. Now please be causelessly merciful to me by explaining about man. So tomorrow we'll discuss man. The Wi-Fi is becoming a little dodgy. So we'll discuss the different types of man tomorrow. So I hope everyone's able to keep up with these descriptions. We will, according to our adhikar, according to our unique dispositions, whatever is our proclivities. But all of these, hearing all of these descriptions can only inspire the heart more devotional towards the gopis of Vrindavan, which is our heart's attraction. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Ananta Gauta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gop Premanande. So we reached page 741 yesterday, and I'll just read the paragraph prior. We talked about many different things yesterday. We talked about prem in particular, and these 3 types of prem, the prodha, madhya, and manda. And these were described. And then we began to discuss sneha, and grita sneha, madhu sneha. And grita sneha is like ghee, which is not sweet. Unless sweets are put with ghee, then it's the taste is not so relishable. But madhu sneha, which is the sneha it's been described that Shri Radhika has, this mood of mamata, Radhika has this mood of mamata for Krishna. And Chandravali, having Grita Sneha, is the mood of Tadatmika, or Tadmaya, yes, Tadiya. This mood of I am yours, rather than you are mine. Quite a big distinction there. And then we talked about Hadara, honor, and Gaurava, awe and veneration, in connection with Sneha and Bhav. And we talked about possessiveness, Madhyatva, and two conceptions of Rati, which I've just described now, imbued with the idea that I am his, and the other type of Rati is imbued with the conviction, he is mine. So that Gurita Sneha and Madhu Sneha were described. So now I'll just read this paragraph here, top of page 741. When Vijay heard about these two types of bhav, his hair began to stand on end. Choked with emotion, he offered his Dandavat Pranam to Sri Guru Goswami and said, "Today I have become fortunate and my human birth has become successful. Although drinking the nectar of your instructions, my thirst to hear is still not satiated. Now please be causelessly merciful to me by explaining about Man." Goswami. Man is Sneha that has attained the pinnacle of its excellence and has externally assumed a guileful or crooked mood to cause the Nayak and Nayika to realize a new sweetness. How amazing. The description of his words are amazing. Vijay, how many types of Man are there? Goswami, there are two types of Man, Udatta and Lalit. Goswami, what is Udatta Man? Goswami, there are also two types of Udatta Man. One type takes on a submissive mood, Dakshinya Bhav, externally, and a contrary mood, Bhamya Bhav, internally. The other is expressed through extremely cryptic behavior. It hides the bhavs of the mind and is characterized by profound gravity, laced with a slight scent of Vamya. Udatta Man occurs only in Grita Sneha. So this is only in relationship to Chandravali. Vijay, what is Lalit Man? I cannot say why, but for some reason I have more interest in it. Goswami, when Madhu Sneha becomes turbulent due to its tendency to boil over, conveying unrestrained and extremely sweet crookedness and humor, it is called Lalit Man. There are also two types of Lalit Man, namely Kutilya Lalit Man and Narma Lalit Man. When the heart independently assumes a crooked nature, it is called Kutilya Lalit Man, and Man that is infused with humor is called Narma Lalit Man. Both types of Lalit Man arise from Madhu Sneha. Vijay, what is Pranaya? Goswami, when Man is imbued with Vishrambha, so that one considers oneself non-different from one's beloved, it is called Pranaya. I described yesterday, my Gurudev used to talk about if you're in the bathroom looking at a reflection of yourself in the mirror, you're like one with that reflection. And you're not shy or anything in front of your reflection at all, it's like you. So that's the feeling in pranaya. It's just a complete oneness with each other. All of these stages up to Mahabhav are beautifully described by Hriday Bon Maharaj in his introduction to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we've posted those 14 pages today, so you can refresh through there and get a closer insight into these stages. What is the meaning of Vishrambha in this context, Goswami? Vishrambha is intimate confidence, and it is the intrinsic nature of pranaya. Vishrambha is not the instrumental cause, nimitta karan, of pranaya, Rather, it is the ingredient cause, upadan karan. There are two kinds of Vishrambhar, Maitra and Sakya. Vijay, what is Maitra Vishrambhar? Goswami, Maitra Vishrambhar is the implicit trust that is imbued with courtesy and humility. Vijay, what is Sakya Vishrambhar? Goswami, implicit trust is called Sakya Vishrambhar when it is free from all types of fear and is imbued with the full confidence that one's beloved is controlled by one's love. Vijay, please clearly explain the interrelationship between pranaya, sneha, and man. Goswami, in some circumstances, pranaya arises from sneha and then develops the characteristic behavior of man. In other cases, man arises from sneha and then becomes pranaya. Therefore, man and pranaya are interchangeably related as cause and effect. So sometimes from sneha, pranaya will arise, and sometimes from sneha, man will arise. It'll go straight to that stage. That's described in a number of places. That is why Vishrambhar has been described separately. The appearance of Maitra and Sakya is caused by the differences between Udatta and Lalit. Moreover, there is also the further consideration of Sumaitra and Susakya in pranaya. That is, the prefix su indicates special or good. So how phenomenal, intricate are these subtleties that Rupa Goswami is actually giving us. Vijay, now please describe the symptoms of rag. Goswami, pranaya is called rag in its highest condition, when even extreme distress seems like happiness. Vijay, how many types of rag are there? Goswami, there are two types of rag, Nilima rag and Raktima rag. Vijay, how many types of Nilima rag are there? Goswami, there are also two types of Nilima rag, namely Nili rag and Shyama rag. Vijay, what is Nili rag? Goswami, Nili rag is rag that has no possibility of becoming weakened, and when it is visible externally, it conceals the other bhavs with which it is combined. This rag can be seen in Chandravali and Krishna. Vijay, what is Shyama rag? Goswami, Shyama rag is the rag that is displayed through timidity. Osad hasika. Osad hasika. Osadasika, and so on. It is manifest somewhat more than Nili rag and is attained after a long time. Vijay, how many types of Raktima rag are there? Goswami, there are two types, Kusamba rag and Manjista rag, Manjista Sambhav rag. Manjista Sambhav rag. Vijay, what is Kusumba rag? Goswami, Kusumba rag is the rag that is infused at once within the heart and that manifests its own beauty according to necessity, although it illuminates the splendor of the other rags at the same time. Kusumba rag is stable in the heart that has a special capacity to contain it, although it sometimes diminishes when it is mixed with Manjista in Krishna's beloveds. Vijay, what is Manjista rag? Goswami, Manjista rag is the rag that is self-manifest. That is, it is not dependent on others. It is never destroyed, and it is always steadfast. It is never dulled, unlike Kusumba. Such rag is found in Srimati Radha and Krishna. So there's descriptions in this, which will remind me of this Manchista. It's describing here, just to appreciate how this little book really helps opening out these quite summarized statements of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, Manjista Rag, love is eternal and can never be destroyed. It is independent, without any basis. By the way, the editing obviously in this book is terrible, atrocious. I think that could be bias. Other than itself, for its existence. It eternally increases and becomes... Page 162. The love of Sri Radha and Krishna is the prominent example of Manjista Rag. So Purnamasi is speaking to Nandi Mukhi. She says, the peerless, jubilant festival of Sri Sri Radha Krishna's mutual love is eternal. It is never bound by the confines of a single particular birth. Whatever destiny may bring to that couple, their love never wavers. That love is supremely independent and has nothing outside itself from its cause. Those lovers relish the nectar of their association in spite of any fears of discovery by hostile elders. That astonishing blissful love eternally increases in its beauty and opulence. And there's another example of this. Radharani speaks to Purnamasi. Then you advise me to give up my love for this Krishna, who defeated the Mura demon? My dear affectionate friend, let me ask a benediction from you. Please bless me so that this evening I may become a bumblebee resting in Krishna's florist flower garland, attracted by the sweet fragrance of his mouth. In other words, Radharani is saying to Purnamasi, I will leave my body and pray to take birth as a bumblebee, because she cannot give up Krishna. There's another example of this where she does the same thing. So there's different examples given here. So I'll just read that again. Manjista Rag is the Rag that is self-manifest, that it is not dependent on others. It is never destroyed. It is always steadfast. It is never dulled like Kusumba. Such Rag is found in Srimati Radha and Krishna. The conclusion is that the bhavs that I've already described, such as Grita Sneha, Udatta, Maitra, Sumaitra, and Nilima, are found in Chandravali, and the Mahishis, such as Rukmini. All the progressively superior bhavs, such as Madhu Sneha, Lalit, Sakya, Susakya, and Raktima, are found fully in Sri Radhika. They are sometimes manifested in Satyabhama and under special circumstances in Lakshmana as well. When I discussed Alamban Vibhav earlier, I analyzed the divisions such as Svapaksh between the various Devis of Gokul, which arise from these different types of bhav. Scholarly personalities take support of transcendental intelligence, the power of pragyan, to comprehend the various separate divisions that can occur by the mutual combination of the 41 other Mukhya Bhavs mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I have not given a separate explanation here. Vijay, which Bhavs do you mean when you use the term other Bhavs, Bhavantara? Goswami, this means the Sthai Madhurya Bhav, 33 Vyabhachari Bhavs, and 7 Gona Bhavs, beginning with Hasya. The term other Bhavs, Bhavantara, refers to this total of 41 Bhavs taken together. Vijay, I've understood the subject of rag. Now please explain anurag. Goswami, anurag is eternally newer and newer, and causes one's beloved to be always experienced as new at every moment. I'll read that again. Anurag is eternally newer and newer, and causes one's beloved to be always experienced as new at every moment. Anurag is experienced as new at every moment. Vijay, does this anurag manifest any other fascinating features? Goswami, anurag is manifest in forms such as the sentiment in which the lovers feel that each has subjugated the other by their love, by prem, by chitya, and the desire to take birth among lifeless objects. Anurag also causes the spurti of Krishna to appear at the time of separation. These stages are also described in this Ujjvala Ramani. Vijay, I can easily understand the sense of mutual subjugation and the desire to take birth as an inert object, such as a tree. But please mercifully instruct me about why Chitya is included in Vipralamba. I will tell you about this later. So, in the next chapter, he's going to describe the 4 stages of separation, and Prem Vaichitya is one of those stages. Vijay, that is fine. Then kindly tell me about Mahabhav. Goswami, my dear child, my acquaintance with Brajaras is utterly insignificant. Where am I, and where is the description of the supremely elevated Mahabhav? Nevertheless, I am speaking on the strength of my merciful shiksha, the merciful shiksha I have received from Sri Rupa Goswami and Pandit Goswami. That's Bakrishra Pandit. You should realize that by their mercy alone, I can say something in accordance with Sri Rupa Goswami's specifications. When anurag in the form of Yavad Ashray Vritti attains the condition of Swayam Veda Dash, it becomes manifest, prakashita. It is called Bhav or Mahabhav. I'll read that again. When anurag in the form of Yavad Ashray Vritti attains the condition of Swayam Veda Dasha and becomes manifest, prakashita, it is called Bhav or Mahabhav. Vijay, Prabhu, I am thoroughly worthless and destitute. I am inquiring foolishly. Please be compassionate and explain the symptoms of Mahabhav in simple language that is suitable for my understanding. Goswami, Sri Rati is the Ashraya Rag. Sri Nandanandan, in his Sringara form, is the ultimate limit of Vishaya Tattva, and Sri Radhaji is the ultimate limit of Ashraya Tattva. This is the point to appreciate. They are both the ultimate limits of Ashraya and Vishaya. This means that Sri Krishna alone is the supermost Vishaya of Anurag, and Sri Radhaji is the supermost Ashraya. Their Anurag is the Sthayibhava. When that Anurag reaches its ultimate limit, it is called Yavad Ashray Vritti. In that condition, it attains the Swayam Vedya Dasha, the condition that is only completely realized by that special beloved. At that time, Anurag is illuminated by the bhavs such as Sudipta. So we've been through these Ashtasattvika bhavs, starting from Domya, Jwalita, Dipta, Udipta, and Sudipta. So Sudipta is the highest, most intense. Vijay, Aho Mahabhav. What is the meaning of Mahabhav? Today I have understood something. Mahabhav is the ultimate limit of all bhavs. I become intensely eager to hear an example of this Mahabhav. Please be merciful and describe something to satisfy my ears. Goswami, this shlok is an example of Mahabhav. Radhaya bhavatash cha chita chatuni swader vilapya kramad. Yunjan adri nikunja kunjara pate nirduta beda brahmam. Chitraya swayam anvaranyajad iha brahmand harmodaya harmodare. Buyobir navarag hingula bare shringara kuru kriti. Ujvala Nilamani Sthayibhava Prakarana 155. Sri Radha Krishna continuously enjoy their loving play in the Nikunjas. Vrindadevi, having realized the excellence of their anurag, says to Krishna, O king of mad elephants, who sports in the groves of Govardhan Hill, there is an accomplished artist of the name Sringara Ras, and upon the fire generated from the heart of your two barbs, he has slowly melted your shellac-like hearts and made them one. Then mixing that with profuse quantities of kumkum of your ever-fresh rag, he is painting an astonishing picture upon the inner walls of the grand temple of the universe. There can't be any other writings in existence as exalted as these. Really, this is exceptional, exceptional beauty. Rupa Goswami. Here, Nidut Bed Brahmam means Radha and Krishna have become free from their duality and become one, culminating in the stage of Swayamveda Dasha. The grand temple of the universe should be understood to refer to Yavad Ashray Vritti, and the term he is painting indicates the condition of prakashita, the condition of prakashita. Vijay, where is this Mahabhav to be found? Goswami, Mahabhav is extremely rare, even in the Mahishis headed by Rukmini. It is only experienced by the Brajadevis headed by Sri Radha. Vijay, what is the purport of this? Goswami, Swakya Bhav is present wherever the Nayika is bound by the Nayak by the regulations of marriage. In Swakya Bhav, Rati is Samanjasaha, so it is not competent to attain the most elevated conditions such as Mahabhav. Swakya Bhav is also present in some gopis in Braj, but Parakya Bhav is predominant. In Braj Rati is Samartha, so it develops fully and reaches up to the condition of Mahabhav. Vijay, how many types of Mahabhav are there? Goswami, Mahabhav, which is the embodiment of the highest nectar, attracts the heart and causes it to attain its own intrinsic nature. There are two types of Mahabhav, Ruta and Adiruta. Vijay, what is Ruta Mahabhav? Goswami, Ruta Mahabhav is the stage in which all the Sattvika Bhavs are manifest in the Udipta condition. So we've just said those 5 stages. So the Udipta is not the topmost intensity. So this is Ruta Mahabhav. It's also described differently that 5 Sudipta blazing is Ruta Mahabhav and all 8 is Adiruta Mahabhav. But here is described that 8 are there, but in the stage of Udipta. So it can be described differently. Vijay, be merciful and explain the anubhavs of Ruta Mahabhav. Goswami, in the Ruta Mahabhav, even the passing of a moment is unbearable. This Ruta Mahabhav churns the hearts of those present. A kalpa seems to pass like a moment. Kalpa Shanatva One feels dejected because of the apprehension that Sri Krishna is undergoing some inconvenience, although he's actually happy. One becomes forgetful of everything, even oneself, although one is not bewildered. And one moment seems to pass like a kalpa, shana kalpata. Some of these anubhavs are experienced during meeting and some during separation. So all of this is for our deeper meditation and appreciation. So this is described also here in the Mahabharata. During the rasa dance, the gopis manifested a nectar river of love for Krishna. This is a big principle to understand. This is on page 165. So their love for Krishna is what is manifesting here. The broken cooing of the awakening swans in that river was the sound of the gopis' voices choked with ecstasy. So if we consider for a moment, like the impersonal path doesn't have any object to its prem, so to speak. There's no object, there's no vishaya there. So there's no sambandha, there's no meeting. Whereas here, in this highest stage of Mahabharata, there's so much beyond anurag, this mood of total absorption in the object of our attraction. It's Krishna. And I am not in the picture, it's only Krishna that is there. So this is such an exalted stage to appreciate. The waves and whirlpools of that river are the gopis' trembling motions. The playful fish in that river were the gopis' bodily hairs standing up with happiness. Currents of that river were the gopis' tears. The cooling spray in that river was the gopis becoming stunned with joy. The lotus flowers growing in that river were the gopis' transcendental bliss. So there's many descriptions there that we can also read to open out this topic for ourselves. Vijay, even the passing of a moment is unbearable. Please give an example of this to help me understand. Goswami, this bhav is Vaichitya Vipralamba, a particular manifestation of separation. Even in meeting, there is the feeling of being separated, and even a moment's separation is intolerable. That is why when the gopis looked upon Sri Krishna for the first time after so long at Kurukshetra, they cursed Brahmaji, the creator of their eyelids, because the blinking of their eyelids was obstructing their vision of Krishna. Even the time that elapsed during the blinking of their eyes became unbearable. So I think these descriptions are really showing so clearly the nature of the gopis' prem to Krishna. And the sadhak reading these should appreciate, perhaps, for myself anyway, how many millions of miles away we are from having an experience of this nature. So this is very helpful in humbling the heart of the sadhak, because only on the strength of that humility can we go forward. If there's a scent of pride thinking that I've attained or achieved something, then nothing will be successful at all. So this kripa of devotion, it grows, this bhaktilata kripa, it grows on the support, the pillar of this humility. So even just by hearing about these things, it can have that effect, or should have that effect on the, even Mahaprabhu is saying, na prem gandha darbe, that I have not even a smell of prem. Mahaprabhu is saying like that, not even a scent. So we should think like this. In comparison to the gopis, who are cursing the Creator for their eyes blinking. was obstructing their vision of Krishna. Even the time that elapsed during the blinking of their eyes became unbearable. Vijay. This Rudha Bhav churns the hearts of those who are present. What does that mean? Goswami. For example, at Kurukshetra, when the Mahishis, such as Rukmini, and the kings, such as Yudhisthira, saw the uncommon anurag of the gopis who had come to see Krishna, their hearts were churned. That is what this statement refers to. Fascinating. Vijay. What is Kalpa Shanatva? Goswami. Although the night of the Rasalila was as long as a night of Brahma, it still seemed to be less than a second to the gopis. Such a mood is called Kalpa Shanatva. Less than a moment. Vijay, please help me to understand the bar of feeling dejected for fear that Krishna may undergo some inconvenience, although actually he's happy. Goswami, an example is found in the shloka. So this shloka is the last shloka of the Gopi Gita. Yatte sujata charanam buruham staneshu Vitashanai priyadati mai karkasheshu Tena tavimatasi tatyata kim smit Kurpadi bhramati dir bhavadayu samna. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31-19, the last verse of the Gopi Gita. Even when the gopis hold the lotus feet of Sri Krishna upon their breasts, they think, it is lamentable that our breasts are so hard. Krishna's soft feet must be feeling pain when we keep them on our breasts. Such regret is called dejection due to the fear of difficulty for Krishna at the time of his happiness. Vijay, what is the phenomenon of forgetting everything, even in the absence of bewilderment? Goswami, all types of bewilderment, moha, are vanquished by the spurti of Krishna within the heart. That is, there is the complete absence of moha. But when the spurti of Krishna occurs, one loses awareness of everything else in the entire world, including one's own body. Very beautiful descriptions. Vijay, what is Shana Kalpata? Goswami, Krishna describes the state of the gopis' separation to Uddhava. Uddhava, when I was with the Brijbasis in Vrindavan, their nights with me seemed to pass like a moment, but instead from me, those same nights appeared to never end, and they felt those nights to be longer than a kalpa. It's described that when Uddhava goes to meets the gopis in Uddhava Kyari after Krishna has left, Krishna has given Uddhava many messages to give, and the gopis are not so satisfied with all the messages to begin with, and then Uddhava tells the gopis to close their eyes for a moment and to remember Krishna. So all these millions of gopis, they all close their eyes for a moment, and in that moment, the entire night of Lord Brahma becomes compressed, and they relish the entire Rasalila in that single moment. And then after a moment, it's described, Uddhava tells them to open their eyes, and then they're completely satisfied. They've actually just experienced in a moment that compressed stage of time where the entire night of Lord Brahma manifest in their hearts. Because time and space, time is eternal, so it can be compressed like that. So we understand that this seemed to pass like a moment. But in separation from me, those same nights appear to never end. So then the converse is there. When Krishna goes away for 100 years, they're feeling this mohan and this modam, these moods of vipralamba are so extreme. In this way, they would experience the passing of one moment to be like being lost in a vast ocean of time. Vijay, I have understood Ruta Mahabhav. Now please explain Adiruddha Mahabhav. Goswami, Adiruddha Mahabhav is the mood in which all the anubhavs that are manifested in resolute Mahabhav attain special characteristics that are even more astonishing than those anubhavs in their normal forms. So even the anubhavs in their normal forms are accentuated now in this stage of Adiruddha. Vijay, how many types of Adiruddha are there? Goswami, there are two types, Modan and Madan. This is actually why we have Madan Mohan, because it's the meeting and the separation. Vijay, what is Modan? Goswami, the Adiruddha Mahabhav in which all the Sattvika bhavs of the Nayak and Nayika are aroused to a much greater extent than in the Udipta condition is called Modan. In this Modan bhav, Krishna and Radha feel some anguish and fear because Modan is a separation mood in contrast to Madan. Vijay, please describe the position of Modan. Goswami, Modan does not occur anywhere other than in the ute of Sri Radhika. Modan is the dearest and most delightful pleasure sport of the Hladini Shakti. That's an incredible description and sentence. The pleasure sport of Hladini Shakti within the Modan. So this Modan is the separation mood, the highest separation mood. And it's the place of the pleasure sport for Hladini Shakti. So beautiful description. In some special conditions of separation, Modan becomes Mohan. And as an effect of this helpless condition of separation, all the Sattvika bhavs manifest in the Sudipta condition. So we get an understanding that this Adiruddha in either meeting or in separation is going to come to the same degree of this Sudipta, this highest possible conception. We discussed the other day about the similarities of bliss in meeting and separation. So it's defined here very clearly. We'll see. Vijay, please describe the anubhavs in the stage of Mohan. Goswami, Krishna faints while being embraced by another lover. When Radhika feels this mood of Mohan, then Krishna, even if he's with another lover, he will faint. One desires Krishna's happiness while personally accepting unbearable distress. This unbearable distress we can't conceive of. We're thinking of the sweetness and speciality of the bliss, but then in Ananda Vrindavan Champu, it's described in their separation mood. The gopis are feeling like they've been bitten by 1,000,000 scorpions. They're being cut by razors. The devastation of their separation is so extreme, which in contrast will heighten the meeting, the mood of the meeting. It's like these are contrasts to glorify the meeting. It's like, for example, day has its glory in contrast to night. Like that, when you have these contrasts like that, the day is glorious in compared to the darkness of the night. So there's a contrast there. Unbearable distress, the bhav called Brahmand Shobha Karita, causes the whole universe to feel anguish, and even birds and beasts begin to cry. The powerful longing that in the event of death, the 5 elements of the body may associate with Sri Krishna. Divya Unmad, divine madness, and other anubhavs also occur in the stage of Mohan. The miraculous characteristics of Mahabhav are manifest to the fullest extent in Sri Radhika. Mohan Bhav even more than in Moha, which is included among the Sanchari Bhavs. Vijay. Prabhu, if you consider it to be appropriate, kindly describe 2 symptoms of Divya Unmad. Goswami. When Mohan Bhav attains a unique, indescribable mode of behavior, developing into a wondrous condition that resembles a state of utter confusion, then it is Divya Unmad. It has many different features, such as Udgurnya and Chitra Jalpa. Vijay. What is Udgurnya? Goswami. The state of Divyan Unmad in which many varieties of astounding and uncontrollable endeavors are manifest is called Udgurnya. Radhika experienced Udgurnya when Krishna departed from Mathura. At that time, as if in complete forgetfulness due to feelings of separation from Krishna, Radhika thought, Krishna is coming. He will be here in just a moment. Thinking in that way, she made a bed in the kunj. Sometimes she rebuked the dark clouds like a nayak who expresses anger towards her unfaithful lover, Kandita. And sometimes she wandered around hurriedly in the dense darkness of the night, like a nayaka who makes a secret journey to meet her lover, Abhisarini. So now we're going to go through the different jalpas that become experienced in this stage of Udgunya. And this is all from the Brahmara Gita in the 10th canto. So there's going to be 10 descriptions of Radharani's Udgunya or Chitra Jalpa, these mad talks she's feeling towards Krishna. They're a very, very beautiful meditation. And they're in a progression. They're not just haphazard. If you see them all together, they escalate to a height of abuse. Radharani is abusing Krishna. And in the 5th stage, this Abhajalpa, Sanjalpa. In this Sanjalpa stage, it's like at a peak. And then towards the end, at the very end, this Sujalpa, then her mood softens towards Krishna. To begin with, she's chastising, like we know the story of the bumblebee coming. So she's chastising that bumblebee very heavily in the beginning, but then gradually through those moods of Divya Unmad, then they soften towards the end. So we'll discuss this tomorrow. We'll go through this tomorrow. I don't know how much we can digest in one reading. These are very intense descriptions indeed. Super intense descriptions. And I'm simply just reading them through. But with the hope or the understanding that the devotees hearing them in their, according to their own adhikas, etc., will perhaps take some inspiration to go more deeply into the subject matter. And this is always going to be to our great advantage in the path of bhakti, to go deeper and deeper into here, to understand this loving relationship between Radha and Krishna. It's so intense, but it's not quite beyond description because it's being described, which is amazing. But it's being described as beyond description practically, but at the same time, Rupa Goswami has defined it to give us an impression of the vastness of these exchanges. Extraordinary. Jai Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanandi, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So now we come to our subject matter for today, which is Chitra Jalpa. So we're going through these highest conceptions or descriptions of what is rasa tattva, what is rag mag to its highest degree. So our acharyas, especially Rupa Goswami, who has enunciated all of this very clearly, has given us these conceptions as a gift from Sachinandan Gaurahari. This is why they have come, directly from the Supreme Lord. Krishna was here 5,000 years ago and was principally relishing his pastimes in Vrindavan, but not distributing them. No one could really understand what Krishna was doing. Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba didn't even know what Krishna was doing. Only Krishna and his Shaktis, the gopis, the energies, knew what was the principal activity. The principal activity of Krishna in Vrindavan is when he's with the gopis. He does cow herding, he does so many other pastimes as well. But he's, like it's described, when he goes into the forest with the suckers for cow grazing, then he hears some swans cooing and he thinks, oh, that's Radhika's ankle bells. Then he sees a beautiful lake and he thinks, oh, this looks like Radhika's face. His mind is on Radhika. And then just after a couple of hours in that Pratal Leela, then he goes to Radhakund in Madhyana Leela for 5.5 hours with the gopis and Radha. So 12 hours of the day, Krishna is completely with the gopis, totally, exclusively, in Madhyana Leela, in Nishanta Leela, and in Ratri Leela. These 3 Leelas, Krishna is just completely there. So this is his principal activity in Vrindavan, is to show us anugrahaya bhaktanam manusyam deha ashrita bhajate tadrishi kritva yashrutva tatparo bhavet. That Krishna manifests in the human-like form to show us the beauty of his pastimes in Vrindavan. But those pastimes in Vrindavan are never seen or broadcast until Mahaprabhu manifests. They were not broadcast prior to Mahaprabhu because nobody could understand the nature of Parakiya Ras. And that's the principal dynamic ingredient of those pastimes. So now we've come to this Chitra Jalpa and the famous pastime of when Krishna has left Vrindavan. Krishna is not Radharani's husband. So he's left. So Bhagavatam describes all this, but it doesn't give the essence of the entrance into the conception of Parakiya. Even Jaidev Goswami, we've said many times, he couldn't write that verse, Smaragarala Kandanam, Mamasi Rati Bandhanam, Dehi Padapalavam Udaram. He couldn't write it himself. Krishna had to come and write that verse. Krishna is putting his peacock feather and flute at the lotus feet of Sri Radhika, begging for her mercy to mitigate his feeling of separation. Jaidev Goswami, in the 9th century, could not write, and he was a great mystic, elevated personality, because his Gita Govinda is so extraordinary. It's so beautiful and heart-melting with the descriptions of Radha and Krishna's separation, but still having Radhika be superior to Krishna. Because in Ras Tattva, Radhika is the queen and Krishna is submissive to that. Because in Atma Tattva, of course, Krishna is the creator of all the worlds. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarvam pravartante. He creates all the material and spiritual worlds. But in the rasa arena, Radhika is calling the melody. And we can understand this just for a brief moment by considering chapter 14 of Jaiva Dharma, which is Shakti Tattva. This chapter 14 is pivotal to understand the nature of Shakti Tattva. Krishna is Shaktiman, and he's surrounded by his energy, just like the sun is surrounded by the illumination, completely packed in by the illumination. It's the illumination or the Shakti that is creating everything in the world. Swarup Shakti, everything is coming from that. And all the sun is doing is just manifesting that, so to speak, but not actually doing anything there. So my Gurudev often describes Krishna is like Nirvishesh Brahm without his Shakti, if the Shakti is not there. So it's Mahaprabhu who's come to open this storehouse. So now we come into this pastime, which principally is around or describing Brahmara-gita, when Krishna has left for Dwarka, and Krishna goes for 100 years. How can the hearts of the soft-hearted, gentle, young gopis of Braj tolerate that immense separation? So we gradually begin to understand, especially from what we're going to read today, the potency of that separation mood, where it sends the consciousness to of Sri Radhika. It sends her into Divyan Mad, we discussed yesterday, this Urgunya. This is transcendental madness, it's described as. Completely distracted. She's talking to a bumblebee. And she's talking to the bumblebee like the bumblebee's a messenger. And Uddhav, he's witnessing this when he comes as a messenger. So we'll read. But that's the background of today. Vijay. What is Chitra Jalpa? So this is the first of the Jalpas. There's 10 Jalpas. We're just going to read them right through. And we may even conclude this chapter today. Maybe we'll see. So what is Chitra Jalpa? Goswami, Chitra Jalpa consists of the discourses that occur when one meets a friend of one's beloved. They are full of intense longing, and they arise from bhavs such as jealousy, envy, restlessness, pride, and eagerness. So, the friend of one's beloved, this is Uddhav. Uddhav is the dearmost Saka, Priya Saka of Krishna in Mathura. And he's come with a message from Krishna. I described that message yesterday, how he tells them to close their eyes and they have a complete night of Lord Brahma in that momentary closing of the eyes. So this mood is of the hurt lover. That's what these moods are all about. And they escalate, as I described yesterday, to a pinnacle with Sanjalpa. And then they begin to soften towards the end with Sujalpa. So there's 10 Jalpas. They're in like a mood if you get into it, if you get completely intense about it, because that's what this Ras Tattva actually demands in the end. We can hear it once, we can get the idea of it, but the hope is that we will become inspired into this topic exclusively and just leave all other topics behind, and because actually within this topic is the highest connection with Radha and Krishna, because we're seeing the emotions of Sri Radhika. If we're understanding that Radhika is our Ishtadev, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has made it quite clear in all his bhajans, his Gita Vali, Kalyana Kalpataru, or so many bhajans he's written, that without Radhika, then the bhajan has no meaning. And my Gurudev has said that that amount of Radha that we have in our hearts, that amount Krishna will come and reciprocate with. If Radha is not there in the heart, Krishna will be slow to actually come to that person. He won't be so attracted. Krishna is attracted to his energy, Sri Radhika. So these bhavs arise in connection with a mood of jealousy, envy, restlessness, pride, and eagerness. Radharani is very unhappy that Krishna is not there. And this is her expression. And it's called Divyan Mad. It's when the mind becomes distracted. Vijay, how many angas of Chitra Jalpa are there? Goswami, there are 10 limbs of Chitra Jalpa, namely Prajalpa, Parijalpa, Vijalpa, Ujalpa, Sanjalpa, Avajalpa, Abhijalpa, Ajalpa, Pratijalpa, and Sujalpa. These 10. And if you follow them through, you will see for yourselves how it's in sequence. And it's Rupa Goswami who describes these. You can find a description of them in Brahmara Gita in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vijay, what is Prajalpa? Goswami, Prajalpa means to reveal the tactlessness of one's lover, using various neglectful mannerisms that are imbued with malice, jealousy, and pride. She's really not happy with Krishna. So all of that comes out in a very amazing way. What is parijalpa? Parijalpa is showing one's own expertise through expressions that establish faults in one's pran-dhan, such as his cruelty, treachery, and fickleness. She's angry that Krishna's gone to Mathura and that he's with the Mathura ladies. He's not with her. How does a woman feel? I don't know, I'm not in the woman's body, but a woman will feel these natural emotions. Of course, this is all on the transcendental platform entirely. Vijay. What is Vijalpa? Goswami. Vijalpa refers to speech in which one outwardly makes malicious allegations against Krishna while the aspect of man is hidden in the heart. So Radhika's in man in that point. Vijay. What is Ujalpa? Ujalpa means speaking of Krishna's treachery, hypocrisy, and so on, out of jealousy arising from one's pride and always making hostile allegations against him. So it's escalating. Now, Sanjalpa, this is the highest, most angry one we can say. Goswami, Sanjalpa is establishing Krishna's ungratefulness, harshness, deceitfulness, and so on through cryptic joking, accusations, or mannerisms. She's saying all this directly in front of Uddhav to this bumblebee. Vijay, what is Abhajalpa? Abhajalpa is expressing one's involuntary or helpless attachment to Krishna with fear imbued with jealousy while finding in him faults such as hard-heartedness, lustiness, and villainy. Vijay, what is Abhijalpa? Goswami, Abhijalpa means to lament with indirect expressions such as Krishna even gives the distress of separation to his birds, such as his parrot and the peacocks. So attachment to him is useless. Krishna is so unkind. They're really... And Krishna loves this, by the way. Krishna loves these expressions more than the righteous prayers of the Vedas. It's described. Those righteous hymns, you're so beautiful, you're so wonderful. That's kind of like not so tasty for Krishna. He likes this because this is right deep in, it's in the deepest core of the heart. It's the highest mood. Vijay, what is Ajalpa? Ajalpa means to expose Krishna's duplicity and persecution due to self-disparagement, and to say that only subjects other than Krishna Lila Katha give happiness. Vijay, what is Pratijalpa? Goswami, Pratijalpa means showing respect towards a messenger sent by Krishna and saying Krishna is a knave and a dacoit when he is seeking amorous love, so it is inappropriate to meet with him because he is with other charming ladies at the moment. So what is in Uddhav's mind when he's hearing this? He's been exposed to the highest conception of divine love that Radhika holds in her heart. Vijay, what is Sujalpa? Sujalpa is inquiring about Krishna out of simplicity with a mood of gravity, humility, restlessness, and eagerness. You see, Sujalpa, it comes out of it. It goes through a whole progression of her anger and her unhappiness at being away from Krishna. And Krishna loves all this. Prabhu, am I qualified to know about the symptoms of Madan? So now we come to another topic. So all these stages are reaching towards Madan. We had Madan and Mohan spoken yesterday. These are the topmost stages when we've described already Madan, about the Ashtasattvika bhavs blazing. And we've described the 5 intensities. This Domyata, Jvalata, Dipta, Udipta, and Sudipta. These are 5 intensities of the natural, spontaneous attraction for Krishna. And when they're at the highest, that's all 8, because there's 8 Sattvika bhavs, they're all blazing in this Sudipta. Vijay. Vijay Prabhu, am I qualified to know about the symptoms of Madan? Goswami, when Prem, which is the embodiment of the essence of Hladini, Radhika is Hladini Shakti herself, increases even further than the Mahabhav that I have described so far, it attains an extremely advanced condition. The paramount emotion in which it becomes jubilant, ulas, due to the simultaneous manifestation of all types of bhavs, is called madan. This madan is eternally and splendidly manifest only in Sri Radha. It does not arise in other gopis, even in those such as Lalita. So we should know this and remember this conclusively. Radhika is Atyantika, Adhika, Madhya. Atyantika means topmost, going to the very limit or extremity. Lalita is Apekshika, Adhika. Apekshika means in consideration of the highest, she's much less, so much less. Apekshika, Atyantika, Pragalba. This is Lalita. We discussed at the very beginning of this chapter. Who are these personalities? Actually understanding or hearing these terminologies and understanding their meanings, we enter into the very confidential hearts of the gopis to some degree. We start to get a picture of this. Vijay, is there jealousy in modern bhav? Goswami, jealousy is very prominent in modern bhav. It is even seen to be directed towards unworthy and inanimate objects. We see in Venugit, they condemn the flute. Why are you having the lips, this dharmamrita from your lips, you're receiving, this is our property, the gopis are saying. And yet you're taking it, receiving it. This is how they see in their condition of love. Madan is also famous for causing Sri Radha to praise anything that has even the faintest scent of a relation with Krishna. Although she is constantly in intimate union with him. For example, Sri Radha becomes envious of Krishna's Vanamala, garland of forest flowers, and Krishna's sweethearts from the mountainous regions, the girls of Pulinda tribe. I want to read from the Ujjvala Nilamani that story of her being envious of Krishna's garland. It's described here. Radharani addresses Krishna's garland of forest flowers. O garland of forest flowers, why do you constantly hate these pure-hearted, doe-eyed gopis? Why, as you embrace Krishna's form from head to his broad chest, to his feet, do you contemptuously consider us gopis as unimportant as so many blades of grass? So Radharani is talking to the garland of Krishna. This is her love. This is an example of her love. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving this. And Krishna's sweethearts from the mountainous regions, the girls of the Pulinda tribe. He doesn't consort with the girls of the Pulinda tribe, but they come into the leelas in different ways. Vijay, when does Madan arise? Goswami, this fascinating Madan Bhav only occurs at the time of meeting. The eternal sporting pastimes of Madan reign splendidly in innumerable forms. That's the highest conception, and it's only fully realized in Radhika. This is why Krishna is so much controlled by Radhika, because Krishna himself in Krishna Lila doesn't come to that same stage. Krishna comes to Mahabhav. It's 2 stages behind. That's why he comes as Mahaprabhu, because he wants to taste these higher stages of Prem. Prabhu, can we find a description of this type of Madan in the statements of the sages? Goswami, Madan Ras is unlimited, so it is difficult for even the transcendental Cupid. Well, that's interesting, because today's Pradumna, his disappearance day, Raghunandan Thakur. He's the transcendental Cupid also. Transcendental Cupid, Sri Krishna, to understand. So Pradumna is an Anga of Krishna. Sri Krishna to understand the full extent of its activities. That is why even Sri Sukha Muni was not able to describe it fully, what to speak of the philosophers of rasa, such as Bharat Muni. Vijay, your statements are astounding. How is it possible that even Krishna himself, who is the embodiment of ras and the constitutional enjoyer of ras, does not fully understand the behavior of Madan? I just said this is why Mahaprabhu comes, this is why Krishna comes again, to try to understand this. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't, how can he? We have to really think about these things. Goswami, Krishna is ras himself, and he is unlimited, omniscient, and omnipotent. Nothing is hidden from him, and nothing is inaccessible or impossible for him. He is eternally ekaras, and at the same time, he is also unekaras. He's singularly and all time, because Krishna's affection and attraction is spread to all jivas, to his mother, father, the cows, the sakas, everybody, to the land of Vrindavan. But Radharani is only ekaras, it's only looking to Krishna. He is also anekaras, due to his achintya beda dham. As ekaras, encompassing everything within himself, he is atmaram, and in this condition, no ras exists separately from him. However, he is simultaneously anekaras. Thus, besides being atmagata ras, ras experienced by oneself, there is also paragata ras, ras experienced by others, and the varieties of mixed atma para vichitra ras. In other words, that ras experienced by the gopis, reciprocating with him. I've explained this very simple example that my Gurudev gives all the time, of Krishna being like a music shop owner, owns millions of instruments, the uniqueness of all of these rasas, he owns them, they're all coming from him. But you have to have a reciprocal object to have that rasa manifest. It can't manifest just alone. Otherwise it's atmaram, otherwise it's like impersonal. So all of Krishna's Shakti is that, represents that. The happiness of his Leela lies in the latter two types of ras. When paragata expands to the ultimate degree, it is called parakiya ras. That's this beautiful description. And this highest development manifests abundantly in Vrindavan and nowhere else. Thus, for the Atmagata Ras, the unknown, exalted, and unique happiness of Parakiya Ras is the last limit of Madan. It's the last. This is present during the purely unmanifest Leela in Golok, and also to some slight extent in Braja. So this is what's. We have to read these ourselves for the rest of our lifetimes, through again and again, to actually dig all the jewels that are present in here. We can hear them peacefully now, patiently, but later we need to dive into them. Vijay, Prabhu, you have shown unlimited mercy to me. Now please explain the essence of all types of Madhura-rasa in brief, so that I may easily understand. So now we're going to have a summary appreciation by Goswami. All the bhavs that arise in the Braj Devis are divine in all respects and beyond the jurisdiction of logic. Therefore, it is not only difficult but impossible to describe those bhavs thoroughly. It has been stated in Shastra that Sri Radhika's rag manifested from Purva rag. That's the beginning, anticipation. Under special conditions, that very rag becomes anurag, and from anurag comes sneha. Then it is further manifest in the form of man and pranaya. We've been through these stages already. All these points are not fixed. Important to understand. They're not fixed, it's got to be, it's spontaneous, it's fluid. But the condition of domayata is certainly the last limit of Sadharani Rati. Sadharani Rati was the first Rati of Kubja, and Dhammayata is like the lowest stage of the intensity of the Sattvika bhavs. It's actually smoldering or smoking, so Dhammayata. Samanjasa Rati develops as far as Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag and Anurag, in which Dipta Rati is manifest in the Jvalata form. Jvalata is the stage after Dhammayata. Dhammayata is smoking, Jvalata is blazing. Dipta is the next stage. It says in which Dipta Rati is manifest in Jvalata. So that's a reference to the Sattvika bhavs of the Mahishis of Dwarka here we're talking about. In Rudha Mahabhav there is Udipta, and from Modan onwards there is Sudipta Rati. So this is the gradation of the intensity. You should understand that Madhura-rasa is sometimes like this because the order of the stages may also be rearranged according to differences of time, place and circumstance. It's very fluid the more we read. Sadharani Rati develops as far as Prem, Samanjasa Rati as far as Anurag, and Samartha Rati as far as Mahabhav. Doesn't say Madha, but it's Mahabhav. Vijay, how far does Rati develop in Sakya Ras? Goswami, the Rati of the Nama Vyasas associates reach up to Anurag, but the Rati of Subal and others reaches up to Mahabhav. They're the Priyanam Sakas. Vijay, I see that the characteristics of Sthayibhava that you described earlier reach up to the limit of Mahabhav. If Sthayibhava is only one tattva on top, from top to bottom, why do we see a difference between the rasas? Goswami, this difference between the rasas arises from the different kinds of Sthayibhava. The mysterious activities of Sthayibhava are not evident. The different categories only become visible when the ingredients are combined with the Sthayibhava. That's the ingredients of Vyabhachari, Sanchari, Anubhavs, Sattvika bhavs, Vibhavs, when these ingredients are mixed. The Sthayibhava attains the state of ras by a combination of the appropriate components of ras according to its particular hidden identity. Vijay, is the distinction between Swakya and Parakya eternal in Madhurya Rati? Goswami, yes, the distinction between Swakya and Parakya is eternal. It is not an arbitrary designation, not something that is created. Then all the rasas headed by Madhurya Ras would also have to be considered arbitrary designations. If it was arbitrary, then everything would have to be arbitrary. One's eternal and natural ras is indeed his very own distinctive category of eternal ras. He has a corresponding ruchi and performs bhajan accordingly, and this leads to a corresponding type of attainment. There is also Swakya Ras in Braj. Those who maintain the mood, Krishna is my husband, have a corresponding type of ruchi, sadhan bhajan, and ultimate attainment. It's very unique. The quality of Swakya in Dwarka is a Vaikuntha tattva. In Dwarka, sometimes they have 4 arms. Whereas the quality of Swakya in Braj is a Golok tattva. They're quite distinct. Actually, my Gurudev gave his whole life to expressing the distinction between Dwarka and Vrindavan. In Dwarka, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the Super Soul. He's the great king, great prince, etc. Everyone is asking Krishna for benediction, for support, for nourishment. But in Vrindavan, they are all giving Krishna. They know that they have to support Krishna, just like a mother for a small child. The mother's not expecting anything to come back from the child. She's only nourishing. So the Brijvasis are only giving to Krishna. So it's a totally different conception altogether. So this point first we have to understand. My Gurudev used to say, if you don't understand this point, you're not even on the Madhyam platform. So to come to the Madhyam platform, we have to understand this distinction between Dwarka and Vrindavan. And this takes sometimes years to actually really appreciate. And we might have an idea, but then other ideas will come and get distracted, etc. There is a difference between them. Vasudeva Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is situated within Brajanath Krishna. And one should understand that the highest condition of this Swakya Tattva in relation to Vasudeva Krishna extends only as far as Vaikuntha. After hearing this, Vijay offered pranam to Sri Gurudev and returned to his residence, absorbed in great love. So thus ends the 36th chapter of Jaiva Dharma, entitled Madhura-rasa-vicara, Sthayibhava and Stages of Rati. What an incredible chapter. That is such a powerful chapter. And we finish right on the knuckle of time. So tomorrow, I'm traveling to Bhubaneswar and Puri, and hopefully everything will be okay to start chapter 37 from Puri Dham itself, where it was originally spoken, so to speak, by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the pastime sequence of Guru Gopal Goswami. So hopefully everything will be okay, and I'll be okay for tomorrow with chapter 37, extraordinary topics. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.